Hello, if you're new here, my name is Echo. Although if you're not new here, my name is still Echo. What is this? So I've been away for a little bit, not that any of you noticed. But the reason for that is that my roommate and one of my best friends, Betsy.
Hi, I'm Betsy.
Just got married to another one of my college friends, Dan.
Hi.
So I was at a wedding last weekend.
Let's go on an adventure, yeah. And we're off.
We left early on Friday, and then we spent like 5-ish hours in a car and drove all the way to California. Then when we got to the hotel room, we had to immediately start getting ready after we ate lunch, of course, because the wedding was going to be on Friday night. I really love spending time in hotel rooms because it just makes me feel really distant from the world.
Yeah, getting ready for the wedding. The wedding. There's going to be a wedding.
I wore some really awesome stockings, but looking back on it, they may have not been completely appropriate for a wedding. I'm sure that Betsy expected that from me. I also realized that if I film myself from an incredibly unflattering angle, I kind of look like the Witch of the Waste from Howl's Moving Castle. I tried to help out as much as I could with the planning and setup, because planning a wedding is a lot of work. Just watching my roommate go through the binders of DJs and venues was exhausting. I helped her make the save the date cards, the invitations, the programs, the labels, the cake display card, the advice cards, and the guest book. The wedding was beautiful, the cake was amazing, there were bubbles, the bride and groom shook hands, and I got a ton of pictures. They also had one of the best cake toppers that I have ever seen. I really want this cake topper, partially because it reminds me of a Slender Man wedding. At one point I had to get into my friend's car, and so she gave me her keys, and she had this creepy little faceless Jesus keychain, and I forgot to ask her about it, so now I will never know the story of faceless Jesus. It's so weird watching your friends get married and grow up and have lives.
I think this is probably the extent of my heel that I'm comfortable with.
This is my extent of heel.
Yeah, I can't go higher than this. I'm already tall, so it's not like I need it.
I'm average.
I'm fairly tall for a girl.
Since we were in California, my friends and I decided to take advantage of it and go to Disney. It's really early and I look like death, and I have delicious coffee. It's not really delicious, it's okay, but we're going to Disneyland today, and we woke up this morning and it looks like rain. Yep, so I'm gonna go lay down a foundation of makeup and we're gonna grab some jackets and go to California Adventures Disney World Place. Yay, LA. I got to ride bumper cars for the first time, so that was exciting. Except they didn't go that fast, so they weren't really bumper cars so much as like touching cars. I admire any person with the endurance to work at Disneyland because it's great for a weekend. But can you imagine standing outside of a ride hearing the exact same music and please keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Young children should not be left unsupervised. Unattended children will be turned into the lost and found. Please have your fast passes ready for boarding. Please do not lean on the guardrails. Thank you and have a nice day. For the entire day, I would go crazy. Parade was amazing and made me feel like my hair is fairly underwhelming. Also, whenever I see wigs made of tubular crinoline, the small ounce of cybergoth in me just screams, I want it. I also learned that stilts are really cool, and I would really like some. Not that I'm coordinated enough to use them, but I would really like some. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm actually from Arizona, and the town in the movie Cars was actually inspired by a town in Arizona. So when I went on the Cars ride, the entire thing was just screaming Arizona. It had the cacti, it had the dirt, it had the blistering heat, it had the dirt. That's pretty much it.
Oh, look at the red car! We're getting on the red car. Oh, excitement.
We went on the Toy Story ride, where I got the highest score in the entire cart. The second time. I also took some first-timers on the Tower of Terror.
We're at the Tower of Terror, and I'm about to go on it with two people who've never been on it, so I'm excited for them.
She may have thrown up a little bit. I want to tell you what exactly happens on the Tower of Terror, so if you've never been on this ride and you want the full terrifying experience in the future, just put the video on mute and I will let you know when you can turn the volume back up. So on the Tower of Terror, you are herded through a creepy lobby into a creepy room where you watch a creepy Twilight Zone video, and then you go and sit in some theater-style seating inside of a giant elevator. You see some holograms, you watch yourself disappear, and then the elevator shoots up to the top floor, the doors open, and then it drops. And then it violently shakes you up and down. Essentially, it's the grown-up version of the jumping jellyfish ride. The scariest part about the ride, for me at least, is the atmosphere. It's just really creepy. If a building wore a Halloween costume, it would be the Tower of Terror. At this point, I'm just waving my hands and throwing up images on the screen because I want to confuse anyone who might actually have the video on mute, because that's the kind of person I am. If you would also like to confuse the people who may have the video on mute, then feel free to leave a comment that makes absolutely no sense. Something like, oh, that part when she mentioned the pumpkin. That'll do it. We also got a picture on the ride, so I did that annoying thing where you pull out your phone and then you take a picture of the screen that's displaying the picture instead of paying $15 for them to print out a freaking picture. They look so concerned about their glasses, and I'm just smiling way too much. Tower of Terror and California Screamin' are right up my alley. I love rides that go way too fast, have creepy animatronics, and warnings that say things like, "You should not ride this ride if you have high blood pressure, heart, back, or neck problems, motion sickness, or a desire to keep your spine intact. Pregnant or nursing women should not ride this ride, because they will explode." I want an intense experience that hits hard and fast and makes me make noises that I did not know I was capable of. Sounds kind of dirty, but you know what I mean. The very last thing that we saw before we left was the World of Color, and it was beautiful. Neil Patrick Harris was in it. It was cool. Normally when I go on these trips, I try not to film anything because I just want to feel the full experience, but I decided to go ahead and film a little bit just so that I could share it with you and document it in something that I will actually watch in the future. So thank you for watching this wonderful vlog-tastic vlog. Cards go up there. Subscribe, last video. Oh, we're on the end screen. That means the video's ending. I will see you next week. Also, while I was there, I had the best and most expensive iced coffee that I've ever had. It was good. It was really good.